Who is going to race with Chyna? Welcome back to another episode of the Five Guys on Live. Although you only got three guys checking in with you tonight. And we are so glad that you could join us. If you join us right now, we ain't got one viewer in the mix, but we know that you're coming, and we're going to give you a couple minutes to get your bearings straight. Let us know who you are and where you're watching from. Say hello to us as we say hello to you. Zach, Darius, welcome. What are other men at? We ain't got but three guys. What kind of show is this?
Hey, Horatio.
Horatio, so glad you're here. We only got three guys. So we're going to be, what, three guys on live? It's not the same ring to it. Candy, how are you, my love? She is a historical thinker. I don't believe that we're going to do the best we can with what we get because we have some big topics. Are you guys ready to tackle these topics?
Yay!
I'm not going to be able to put us on this view too often. And let me tell the viewers why I'm not going to be on this view, because I don't want to look like Zach, like him, right? That guy. Because you see he has that gray in his beard, and that indicates his seasoned age. Whereas me, my beard is usually a little bit darker, but I dye my beard, and I haven't dyed in a couple of days. So it's time to hit it with that dye. Darius, be thankful that you don't have a lot of facial hair.
Well, I mean, I just get it cut every week.
He's a nectarine. He's no peach. He's a nectarine because those nectarines don't have any fuzz. Now, let me tell you who does have fuzz. Has a whole lot of fuzz, right? And it's this woman right here. I'm not talking about Lee Daniels. I'm talking about Monique, because Monique has gone on record and she has told you that she has a hairy peach. She does not like to shave her legs, under her arms, or any parts of her body. She likes to remain all natural. Some people speculated that may have been the cause of the fallout, but maybe not. Supposedly, this past weekend, Monique and Lee Daniels reconciled live on stage, and Lee Daniels offered her a job replacing Octavia Spencer on a brand new program that something called Horror House or some nonsense like that. Gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because a lot of people, especially in the Black community, have been praising this hug. Does this make everything okay? Do we care? And what's going to happen to Octavia Spencer? Did she quit the show, or is she just getting replaced? What's happening here?
I think it's great. I think we have heard about the whole blackball for a minute with Monique. With her, yeah, he does die. He don't want to show that he's almost 50, but it's okay.
I am in my beautiful 30s, the terrific 30s, maybe-ish. And what I do not do, I don't dye my hair, but I do dye the beard. I do dye my beard because it's so gray. And it's not you see this man right here, he has that like little patch of gray, and I think that's distinguished for him. But for my gray, it's just sporadic sprigs all over my face, and it just looks a salt and pepper disaster.
No, but back to the topic at hand. I do think it's great that this feud has definitely come to a closing. Hopefully, I know there's still some other people that she probably expect an apology from, i.e. Tyler Perry, i.e. Oprah Winfrey. But I'm glad to see that Lee Daniels, who actually
Oprah ain't giving her nothing,
and that's fine.
Actually, Lee Daniels actually like helped kind of catapult something like for the Oscar nomination, putting her in Precious. And I think it's good that they rekindle. He even talked about it because I got a chance to look at the interview that he did with T.S. Madison. He said, "That's my sister. I love her." And so I know a lot of people were talking about who should get credit for this. And I think T.S. Madison, she should get credit for it solely because she had just had the conversation with Monique, and now she just had the conversation with Lee Daniels, both talking about the situation and both expressing love and friendship with both of them. So I'm glad to see they rekindle their relationships and looking forward to see what great work comes out of that.
I agree, Zach. I think that T.S. Madison is definitely the catalyst for this entire resolution. She did mention that in her conversation with Lee Daniels, Lee disclosed to her that he had seen and watched that entire interview, and that he had to do something about it. So I think that if nothing else, a lot of people tried to give 50 Cent credit for the apology because 50 tweeted that they needed to apologize to Monique because he was about to put her back on. So a lot of people are trying to give 50 Cent the credit for it, but 50 Cent didn't do anything. But what was interesting for me, I had no clue that Lee Daniels and Monique were really good friends before she even did Precious. And so I think they may have even used the word best friend. I think that he said that she was her best, or she was his best friend. And so it's kind of crazy how I guess celebrity and Hollywood can allow you to kind of shit on your friend like that. And what's even more sad is that we've been talking about this. I think this happened 13 years ago. So it's been 13 years that we've been talking about this. And it's crazy that the narrative is just starting to shift, because when it did start, it was, this angry Black woman is difficult to work with, and everyone took them at their word. And so it's unfortunate that it's taken people this long to kind of actually hear her out, and then to, actually understand that Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, like none of them are above reproach. None of them are perfect. And there is a world where Monique could be telling the truth about these people. And I think that we're seeing that come to light as people are finally willing to put their ego and pride to the side and apologize.
What's that?
The Path Made Clear.
I need for Darius to read the book.
I won't read anything.
The Path Made Clear, because it's clear that he doesn't understand the impact that the one and the only Oprah Winfrey has had on this world. And she is above reproach.
Oh, please. Oprah is what you call a lot of the Christian.
Hold on now. Don't speak bad about Oprah. She like to be
what you call the Christian walkers and the
not true.
The Candace Owens of the world. That's what she is right now.
Not at all.
You gotta stop there. She got beehives just like Beyonce.
I know what she got, and that's fine. Rebrand and recatalog Oprah and make it seem like Oprah has sold out the Black community when she has done nothing of the sort. Oprah was recognizing Black excellence at a time when the rest of America chose to ignore it. Oprah did and put people on the map and gave them their flowers while they were alive before it was popular to do so. I never really cared a great deal about the Monique, Oprah, Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry situation. I'm glad that they have reconciled. If that is going to make people happy, if that's, Monique, I think she was maybe done wrong. But on the other end of it, I also think that Monique very well may have been difficult at work. Like, let me be the one to say, I do believe that Monique may have gone to work and been difficult. It's okay. There are people who are sometimes hard to work with. Sometimes I'm hard to work with. Sometimes you're hard to work with. It shouldn't cost you your career. It shouldn't. It should not have done that. But I do not think it's fair to say Oprah's wrong because Oprah don't want to work with Monique.
Oprah has never. The thing is, though, Oprah has never worked with Monique. Oprah and Tyler Perry took this and ran with it because Monique decided that after she finished filming a project that Tyler Perry nor Oprah had anything to do with filming or producing, after they decided to elevate the project to the next level, Monique said that her contractual obligations were done, and so y'all call her difficult to work with. That's dumb, and anybody who supports that is.
But Darius, here is the reality. Here is the back end of it. Sure. The back end of it is that back then there were things that you did because it was expected of you. Let me give you an example. We're going to get ready to talk about this man in a moment. He's next on the agenda. But before we talk about this man, hopefully for the last time, because I know we all tired of talking about this man and even seeing him. It was broken down. I listen to the read every week. I don't listen because it's so boring to go straight through because they talk for like 30 minutes on one topic. But I hit that 30-minute podcast clip, skip. And one thing that Kid Fury brought out that no one else had brought out that I really appreciated was it is their job to go to the Oscars and smile and clap and look like it's the best party in the world. Like they are literally paid to do that. The Oscars to us looks like a great fun time, but to Will Smith and Jada and Chris Rock, it's work. They don't want to spend their weekend doing that. They have to do that. It's a part of their contractual obligation. Same thing happened last night at the Grammys. These artists they have to be there. It's a part of the work. When Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry were saying, get out there and promote this show, they were saying that because that was kind of what was expected of you in Hollywood. It wasn't like that was unexpected. Now, should they have paid her more? Should they have maybe given her a new contract? They should have. They could have. But they were saying, we didn't do it for other people. Nobody did it for us. That's how the game works. If you want to be in the game, you got to play the game. It's like that in every field. It really is. Those are the politics behind our positions.
But I have a question for you. Go ahead.
Monique made $50,000 off of Precious, period. There are teachers who make more than that in a year. And for them to make it seem like she wasn't doing what she was getting paid for, she got paid to record a small film for a film festival. They decided that was bigger. If you somehow decided this project is bigger, and how much money did Precious gross?
But it also gave us some notoriety too.
$63.6 million. And this lady made $50,000, and y'all expect that she want to jump on a plane and fly all around the world to promote this damn movie, and y'all gave her $50,000 off of a movie that you made $60.
But they don't know how much a movie's going to make when it comes out.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know.
Okay,
but
so
that's up to that artist to negotiate.
Her more money.
Yeah, that's up to that artist to negotiate.
And back to your point, Zach, about there's some things that you just do because that's what is expected. That doesn't make it right. And I think that for your generation, there's a difference in stop that, Zach, because I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that because there's a big difference with work culture across different generations. My uncle retired from a job that he worked for 40 plus years. I have an uncle now who's on a job that he's worked at since he graduated high school, and he's about to be 62 or something like that. We're not doing that. Millennials, Gen Z, we're not doing that. We're not going to work engaging in the pageantry just because this is what y'all expect that it should be done. We're not sitting around on the job for 50 years just because that's what mama and grandma did. And I'm glad that Monique was someone who said that just because this is the status quo, that doesn't make it right. Hell, it was also expected that women will go up to the room with Bill Cosby if they wanted to be cast in his projects. And you see how things like that turned out. And so it takes someone saying that even though this is what the status quo might be, I'm not going along with that. Well, and I think that with authenticity comes, with that comes consequences. And so I'm glad that Monique took her consequences in stride, and now she's going to reap the benefits of having taken a stand.
So quick question. Let me ask this, Zach.
Okay, ask a question. Then I want to have a small retort to the generational divide that claims that we experience.
I'm sure you do.
No, I was going to ask a quick question. What do you all think that Lee Daniels did this because, one, he's had some failed projects, such as Empire is No Longer On, as well as Our Kind of People supposedly has gotten canceled. And for him to have some publicity or get some marketing for this new Netflix show that she could potentially be in, he needed to do this.
I do. I think that's a big part of it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, right? If you've allowed your best friend to be outside of your life for 13 years and you're looking at a smart PR move, absolutely, because now people are gonna watch this show because Monique's attached to the project, and that's the game. And that was what I was saying. Now, let me say this. I'm gonna get big for this one. You knew I would. You are so right. I do a whole lot of research on Gen Z and millennials because I am a futurist. Zachary Kirk always wants to stay ahead of the curve. I want to stay relevant in the world of work for the rest of my life. I don't plan to ever retire. I plan to leave jobs. I plan to leave career fields, but I plan to work until the last day I'm able to work. Once I finish my traditional career, I plan to go into politics. So I want to make sure that I am able to always connect with the generations that are above me and below me. And when I'm the last generation at 96 years old at the above, I want to still connect with those below. So what you said is accurate, but let me say this. I also believe, Darius, that it's temporal, okay? Let me explain what I mean by that. Right now, many people in Gen Z and some millennials, they don't have lifetime bills or commitments that are lifetime, right?
Sure.
They may not yet have children they have to provide for. So they're able to say, I don't have to take this because you only are taking care of yourself and maybe your spouse or partner. But when you start having children and you put those children in the mix, that changes the game. And that may be why you can't leave a job. In addition to that, there are also plentiful opportunities to move around and to make side hustle money and gig worker money. But I'm telling you, unfortunately, I believe all of that is going to slowly begin to shift between 2022 and 2028. And I believe that millennials and Gen Z members are going to transition over with age and become more beholden to jobs and careers because that's the pulse of society.
Come on, Cleo, you better predict the future.
Right. You can predict.
I just said I was a futurist. Like I can predict how that gray gonna spread over to the rest of your face, but not to your head because you ain't got no hair.
I'm weak. I predict that companies will learn how to better honor the people that work with them or work for them. And as they do that, then maybe people will decide to shift and, decide to stay in careers and in jobs or whatever for longer periods of time. But I don't foresee people staying at jobs that they're not happy at, like we see people in our family do all the time. Back to Zach.
Gonna sit down. She retiring. It's a wrap.
I know that's right. I'm ready to retire as well. But
Deborah's gonna volunteer and work on my campaign, so I'm excited for the time to come.
Zach made a comment about why Lee Daniels' motivation. Also, it's just we live in social media is something in 2022 that it wasn't in 2009 or whenever this was recorded. It's like that kiss of death. People are on social media finally siding with Monique after having heard the full story. Monique didn't have a platform to do that, when this happened 13 years ago. You can't just now you can pick up your cell phone while you're sitting on the toilet and tell your side of the story, and the entire world would get it through blogs and different sites. And so I think it's one of those other things. It's like people looking at you crazy, bro. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? I think that and somebody said earlier. That's right. Thank you. Right.
And I respect that, and I appreciate it.
And it's just different. And so hands down. And so and again, Deborah is gonna rock with me, like Annette, Casey. These folks gonna be with me on this campaign when the time comes. We're gonna hit the road. But we got 20 more years till that happens. But let me tell you who doesn't have 20 more years. And it's this man right here, people. Will Smith. Will Smith last week decided he was going to leave the Academy of Motion Pictures in possibly an effort to take the wind out of their sails. Gentlemen, this is not to talk about the slap, but this is to talk about the validity of the Academy in general, right? Like, do we care? Do we care that Will Smith chose to resign? Should this even be enough to say, let it be over? Like, no more punishment for this man.
So for me, I'm trying to clearly understand what does the resignation means. And so I know it does mean something. He doesn't have a vote, but it doesn't really mean that he can not win an Oscar in the future.
Right. That's all it means.
Right.
It just means he doesn't get those perks. He doesn't get to screen movies in advance. He doesn't get to, and I'm sure being in the industry, he has friends. If you want to do that, he can do that.
So when Jada brings over the next threesome or foursome or fivesome, they can all sit down and watch the movies together. He can say, Jada, that's who we want you to vote for, like he did when August was over there.
This also doesn't mean that his Oscar for King Richard is going to be taken. They do have plans to meet and to discuss the situation and decide what their course of action is going to be. But this is simply him saying, I don't give a damn about y'all. Like, I made my apology. Do what y'all want to do, but I don't need this. Like, he doesn't need this. And so
So here's my question to the audience. Is it yet time for me to issue a public apology and say I was wrong, that the slap was real? Or do you still agree with me in saying the slap was still fake? I need the audience.
No one agreed.
I don't need you. I don't need you.
And no one agreed with you.
That it was
I need the audience to weigh in.
It was time for you to apologize when you said that shit.
When you said it in the beginning, right?
I'm standing by my words.
I don't think it was fake.
Look at what Horatio just said. I didn't know the Oscars were happening. He meant were happening until the buzz around social media. And again, I feel as though the majority of people, they didn't know, nor did they care. And as a result, this now has brought it back to the attention of the American people.
I don't think anyone plans on watching it, though.
I'm not going to watch it. You going to watch it?
No. But I know one thing that happened. I know Chris Rock did experience an influx in ticket sales for his show. So, you know. And
not only did Chris Rock experience an influx because his show had not sold out, this man took the tickets, they were $80 and they went to $1,000. His tickets were $80. He took the price to $1,000 and he still sold out. Tell me that was not a PR dream.
Did he do that, or did people buy the tickets and then resell them at that price?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But I do think it was real, solely because of all the backlash that he's receiving.
I asked the audience.
Well, I'm telling you what I think. And so the backlash, him resigning. Also, we know Netflix have stopped him from doing his movies, and it's been on pause, and some other issues that he's coming to. The Academy has always been playing this. Okay, whatever. But definitely, I think it was definitely something that was real.
And she know, because her stepfather is a member of the Academy, because she know. I'm just saying.
Oh, she know?
Yeah. She bought me a Mont Blanc pen for a teacher appreciation gift. I still have it. I love my pen. It's in my office right now.
I'm so happy for you.
Be happy for Chyna. She had to sell her cars, okay? You be happy for Chyna. This is why tonight's show is called Who Gon' Race with Chyna, because Nicki Minaj, your hero. You love Nicki.
Hero.
You said you dye your hair pink, trying to look like Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj has some song, and the lyric is gonna race with Chyna, but Nicki can't race with her friend Chyna. That's the woman. I know those of you who are Zach's age and older, you don't know who Chyna is. Chyna is the woman in the middle. She go by Black Chyna. Black Chyna has babies by Tiger or Tigger. I don't know which way is it, Tiger or Tigger.
Tiger.
He looked like a Tigger. He looked like a what's that little piglet? That little pig man, that little pig thing on Winnie the Pooh. But anyway, she has a baby with like Tiger Piglet, and she also has a baby by Bear Piglet, Rob Kardashian, Big Piglet, and so Hoglet. And they have the baby. She has babies. So she went on social media. Yes, Deborah. Let me explain why. Deborah, look. Ain't no news this week. It's the same news as last week. It's been a week cycle of news. Okay. So now here we go with this text, and she had said that she had to give her cards back because she doesn't get child support. Rob Kardashian said, I pay for my children in their school, give lots of money and keep them. Then Tiger said, and then all of a sudden, Black Twitter started to trash and just pile on Black Chyna. What I want to know, and this is really not as much about Black Chyna as it is about the power of Black Twitter and what we think about that type of societal influence through social media.
Maybe this is who Kim Kardashian was talking about when she said that she needed to get up off of. You know what? Maybe this is what Kim was talking about. Maybe. Okay, where Vince at? I'm gonna have to get Vince on the line because I might owe Vince an apology as well.
Vince said he might make the after show, but he said he is right now too busy to be dealing with you guys at the 9:00 show.
But here's the thing: one of the things that I've seen become a trend.
Horatio, really briefly, I don't understand. What does he mean by this? He ruined Fifth Harmony's song.
Fifth Harmony is a group. You might not know about that because
bad.
they're for our younger generation. Yeah.
So a lot of these influencers, you know, or people who've become famous have become famous because they have children by rich men or famous men. I think that is a part of our generation, is that they've had kids with these men as a source of income. And I think that Black Chyna kind of fits that bill as well. And so it's like, you know that you're gonna have, who was it said, have a baby by me, baby, be a millionaire.
50 Cent.
So that's what these women do. And I think that Black Chyna has gotten to a place where she's not getting in child support what she thought she would be getting by having children by these men. And so for me, if someone is paying $37,000 for tuition for a 5-year-old, first of all, that's absolutely ridiculous. But I can't tell people how to raise their kids. Why would you be expecting, like, you're expecting that money to go into your pocket, but then there's really no way for them to verify that you're using that money to take care of your kids. So if you have these expensive, lavish cars, sell your expensive, lavish cars. You only need one car, and then use that money to take care of your lifestyle.
So you know what? You're right. I will say this. Private school in Mississippi is significantly cheaper than in a lot of places, and it's actually phenomenal, high quality education. Especially if your child may have a disability of some kind. Dyslexia is something that runs in my family. And so I have relatives who go to private schools specifically to have that learning challenge addressed. And the quality of the education has been amazing, and the price tag so reasonable. I would pay $30,000 for my child to go to a private school if my child had identified a learning need that could be addressed and better supported. Or I would pay for my child to go, if I would actually, if I had a child, Darius, my child would go to the Suzuki school starting at 6 months here in Atlanta. And that's a school where they start, training children and educating children far in advance. And it's like $30,000 a year. But the quality of what they learn by age 5, I've seen it firsthand. Phenomenal. I think you made some good points. Zach, you think anything about Chyna? Deborah said it's time to move on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think, time to move on. But it is interesting. I think more and more of these cases have been in the media lately, solely because I'm thinking about Jesse Williams, who was on Grey's Anatomy, how he's not making as much money as he was, but he's having to pay like $40,000 a month in child support, and he's trying to get it reduced. But his wife is like, "Ain't nobody asked you to quit," and so she's still trying to keep the money. And so,
does it get adjusted, your child support, once you lose your job or your income changes? Doesn't it get adjusted?
It has to.
Yeah. People can't pay. People now, Deborah, you watch Grey's Anatomy. You've been watching Grey's Anatomy for the 28 years that's been on TV, and you ran and watched Bridgerton too, because you thought that Jean Rene Page was going to be up in there, and he tricked y'all because he got fired. But while Casey brings up a really good point. Casey said, "I'm old school. Be careful and thoughtful about who you have babies with." Well, America should have been thoughtful about who we had a baby with too, okay? Because clearly we have sat up here and had a child with Ukraine, and we are right now paying child support every freaking day of legislative voting. The United States of America has now given over $176 million to Ukraine since the Russian invasion. And this is how the money has broken down. $6.9 billion in traditional foreign aid is usually given. We've given $3.5 billion in military supplies. I'm sorry. It's actually been, it's billions given. $3.5 billion in military supplies, $3 billion in U.S. military deployments and intelligence, and then $176 million in enforcing sanctions. Large total package. Just last week, $300 million was given to the war efforts due to the Russian invasion. And I want to know, is it too much? Have we gotten to a point where we are now, as the United States of America, giving too much money to Ukraine?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big dent in the massive rock that is student loan debt in America. Like, Joe, you said you was gonna give us some student loan relief, and it looked like you taking all that money, and that's what y'all be doing with this child support. That's what y'all do with this child support. Y'all collect this child support from all your baby daddies, and you're supposed to be spending on these kids, but you want to go get your nails done, and you want to go and take care of that other no good man that you got over there in Ukraine, and now we're sitting here looking crazy. Give us our money, Joe.
We are America. We help people out, regardless of the cost.
Ain't no regardless of no cost.
Regardless of the
we
cost.
can get them a funky $20 until next week when they get paid. But we talking about how many billions?
Just 176.
No, it was 176
million.
Oh, it was like billions has been given thus far. And I went and found that graphic, and I actually typed in how much money so far has America given, and I couldn't find the actual number prior to the show. So again, massive amounts of money. And so Deborah said, for you, Zach, one, are they a part of NATO? And two, did we help the Haitians? And then Crazy Boy Jay said, President Trump will be back in office soon.
Well, let's make America great again then. Shit.
No, they're not a part of NATO. So, no, they're not. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't help. Hell, there's plenty of people ain't a part of your family that you helping out. I'm just saying. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Look, Zach, I hear you. I do.
We are.
But I am 100%. I don't have a problem. I have no problem. I'm not even at the part, like Deborah said, mind our own business. Deborah never wanted to give them no money. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's okay for us to donate and give our fair share. If the other NATO countries are sitting here and supporting the efforts, and if we all agree, if France gave 10,000, England gave 10,000, 10 million, let us give 10 million. But I do not agree that the United States of America should share the burden of this economic relief on the international stage when we do have issues right here like student loan debt that will remain unaddressed. And that's what's happening.
And I've been one of the biggest components of like the student loan debt and being kind of erased. But I saw some recently that he has already erased at least 150 million student loan debt.
From whose account?
From people who are disabled. Of course, we read that, and can't work, or as well as oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. But it's definitely been a lot of people. And then I hear he's also gonna look, and so I'm holding out faith and being optimistic. I hear he's also going to extend the deadline again in May as far as repayments, because
I ain't paying no loan. Let me tell you something. I had to get big. I'm talking to Joe Biden right now. I'm talking to Joe Biden and Miguel Cardona. Okay, let me tell you something. I'm not paying my student loans, Joe Biden. It's not going to be paid. It's not, because the lies you sold me in life, this country, the miseducation I received, and the compensation I had to do to learn the right things on my own, that's my student loan debt. I'm not gonna pay it. And if you don't forget this money, you sat here and you said you were going to forgive 10,000. I want my 10,000 forgiven immediately because you lied and said you're going to do it. I want it done before these midterms. Number two, you have the ability to erase $50,000, and I want that $50,000 also erased. This is a reparations code. 50,000 is he has that amount he can do without congressional approval, according to Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, and they real old, and they tell the truth because at their age they're scared to lie.
He gonna hold it out. He gonna hold out.
What happened?
He gonna hold out. He gonna do it right before re-election.
And that's okay.
Right.
And we're gonna run right on over there to that pole and say, "Give us 4 more."
We're gonna take one of them scooters. And we gonna be.
Where is your scooter?
Where is
Yeah,
your
it's
scooter?
okay. Joe Biden can do it then as long as he does it. And this is the real point, right? I'm not overly worried about it either, Deborah. I'm not. But this is the
trying
issue.
to buy a house.
This Joe Biden is acting as though he has a snowball's chance in hell of winning re-election without the vote of people drowning in student loan debt. Many of them people of color and members of Generation Z and the millennials. That you need these votes desperately, and the longer you play around, the more likely you are that they're not going to come around and vote Democrat in these midterms, and that's what's at stake. If the balance of the Senate was even a little bit different, there is no way Judge Ketanji would be eligible to even have a chance of making Supreme Court confirmation. In the event that we lose another Supreme Court justice, like Clarence Thomas, with whatever mysterious illness he has, salmonella or whatnot in his lungs, we need to have a clear path. We can't risk not losing control of the Senate or the House of Representatives in the last 2 years of the Biden administration. We just can't.
Well, one highlight is hopefully other states will follow. I just read that New Mexico has made college free for all people in the state, members of the state, regardless of immigration status, as well as financial status. And so I think if you work on that too, that'd be great. Even if it's community college. I think there's a lot of other stuff. I agree. There's some stuff we have to work on here, but I don't think that negates us from helping out other countries. I'm sorry.
That's not our responsibility to give our taxpayer dollars to other countries at war when we're not strategically aligned or obligated to do so. I don't mind giving them money. What I mind is giving them more money than everybody else. If the other NATO countries France, England, Poland, Germany, the rest of NATO, if those countries give 10 million, we match that. But we don't give above and beyond that money. That's what we should not be doing, because we have domestic needs in the United States of America that are not being tended to, and issues in the agenda that are not being addressed.
Well, I still say if he don't forgive another loan, that's okay, because I forgave myself a long time ago.
And so I'm going to look this up because I want to know what percent of student loan debt is held by Black people. Because I believe that erasing student loan debt is a direct benefit to the Black community.
I believe
that's reparations there.
50% of Black people in the United States of America carry some level of student loan debt. 50%. So again, when you forgive student loan debt, you are definitely going to help the Black community. You are. Now, let me, and again, Joe Biden, this doesn't make sense. The new job numbers came out on Friday, people. For 11 months in a row, the Biden administration has added more than 400,000 plus jobs to the American economy. The American unemployment rate is at a low, is below 4%. These are phenomenal numbers for the American economy. Yet Joe Biden's approval rating is at an all-time low. There is a massive disconnect between what this administration is accomplishing and what the American people are valuing from this administration. He must address this, or he has no chance of re-election, and the Democratic Party is doomed in the midterms and in statewide elections all across this nation. And that's why I'm saying we need to forgive these student loans.
I'll say this also, Zach. They can create a billion jobs if the minimum wage is still going to be $7.25. Like, minimum wage is still $7.25. It was $7.25 when I was in school in 2011.
Why is the minimum wage? But so again, and you know what? It needs to be clearly known by everybody that Joe Biden in the COVID-19 relief bill had built in for businesses to raise the minimum wage to $15. Congressional Democrats fought for that. Republicans shot it down and managed to sit them aside with Republicans. As a result, minimum wage stayed at $7.25. Now, what happened? Businesses actually are now paying $17 an hour, $20 an hour. So their businesses are losing money, paying more in minimum wage, and they don't have the offsetted benefits. This should be known to more people. More people should be aware of what Democrats wanted to do that Republicans blocked, but we don't know that. When you look at inflation, Deborah, Republicans say that inflation is high because of the COVID-19 child tax credits. Republicans say that's why inflation is high. And what's stunning to me is that the states like Mississippi, West Virginia, and Iowa, Idaho, South Dakota that benefited the most from the child tax credits are the ones still supporting Republicans who didn't want to give it to them in the first place.
Well, a job isn't done until it's done. And the reality is, whether or not people know that you're fighting for something, until it's realized, you are going to be held accountable. Like, people are not going to, you're not going to have this crazy, amazing approval rating when gas is almost $5. And I saw that he was talking about releasing all these barrels of oil. I'm yet to see the impact of that at the gas pump.
There won't be an impact.
And see,
it's
that's
not
the
enough
thing.
oil.
So it's just one of those things. He might not be directly responsible or the sole decision maker, but all of that is going to impact his approval rating. And so
we keep running out of coins.
It's just, it is what it is.
And paper. You're not only going to run out of coins, but we're also running out of paper.
We hoarding them coins. I got a bucket full.
Go and take them down to the coin store and stop playing.
Thank you, Horatio. Who is Mitt Romney?
Somebody
that Nicki Minaj voted for. She said, "I'm a Republican. Vote for Mitt Romney." That when she said that, that's when I started to hate her. When those words came out of her pink lip mouth is when I started to dislike and hate Nicki Minaj. Right. And that's why she ain't got nobody to race with, because Chyna ain't got no cars. Now, I wanna say this. I want to say that when you talk about somebody had made a really good point. I wanted to counter the point. I think, what did you say, Dare? You said something I was gonna counter.
Was it about minimum wage or was it about gas prices?
Right. This is the thing. People are stuck on gas prices, but are you not buying the gas?
You got to buy the gas. You don't have.
That's my point. Listen. Let me break that down. We ought to celebrate the fact that we can afford the gas. We ought to celebrate.
But can we?
We
can.
Can we afford the economic indicators are clearly indicative of the fact that we can. Let me tell you this.
That ain't what my bank account
Gas is based on supply and demand. If we could not afford the gas, the supply of gas would increase and the demand for gas would decrease and gas would drop in price. Gas keeps rising, and one of the factors that's leading to gas inflation is that we're still consuming it. Now, let me give you evidence.
People are back in the offices. That's why they got to buy this gas. They got to drive to work. And the market don't run too far.
Let me give you evidence of this from recent days. When people stopped going to the office, we were having a quarantine, gas started to drop drastically. It was dropping because the demand was down. If we stop consuming gas, the price would go down. But we're not going to stop consuming because we can still buy it. Once it gets to a price that we can't afford, people going to stop buying it.
I'm already putting $10 in my pump and staying part. I work from home.
I'm going every 3 weeks.
I just need enough to get from here to there.
Deborah, you have to buy gas as an educator. But again, this is what would happen is that some companies who have learned to work remotely, who then were forced to return to work, they need to go back remote. If their employees are struggling with gas, there's a lot of factors at play. And I'm telling you, that is a piece of it. But again, the American economic indicators indicate a strong economy, despite inflation. It indicates strong economy. The numbers are there. But we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on the high price of gas. We want to focus on the fact that chicken wings cost more. The economy is booming.
Zach, people still making the same amount that they made when the pandemic started.
Look at that.
You talk about the unemployment rate. These people still making $7.25 an hour.
And Lydia brings up a good point. I want to emphasize that just last week, all 50 Republican senators voted no on decreasing the price of insulin. See, we're sitting here arguing and debating about gas prices when we should be talking about something that's like essential for life existence, like insulin, and people can't afford it. And there was a path to making it affordable, making it almost free, and it couldn't get congressional approval. But yet and still, the focus is on what Democrats aren't doing to lower gas prices instead of focusing on what Republicans could have done but didn't do to lower the cost of life-saving medication.
You also can't save lives if you don't have gas to get where you're going.
So it all goes back to gas.
It does. And Obamacare.
It does not go back to gas.
And I just want to
nor does it go back to Obamacare. So listen. Also, one thing we're going to talk about with Black Twitter, not only are we talking about Black Chyna on Black Twitter, but last week the trailer for The Real Housewives of Atlanta was dropped. And instead of the trailer getting major trending views, the fact that Nene and Portia got trending views was the talk of the town. So, gentlemen, I want to know, was that appropriate? Or is that indicative of problems for the Real Housewives franchise?
Where's Phaedra?
Who said that?
Listen, no, seriously.
Phaedra, so on that day, what's the name?
Four people trended when they dropped their trailer. It was Nene, Portia, Phaedra, and Kenya. Just these four. And so that, it just goes to show, it is what it is at this point. I keep hearing that they're bringing it. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And that makes me nervous because every time we hear they're bringing it, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It ends up being trash. Just like last season, Candy was like, oh, this is going to be so good. Yeah. Fried chicken and macaroni.
It's so good, y'all. It's going to be so good.
She talks on her too like it. And then we watched it, and the whole show was just about Kenya trying to make sure everybody knew that Portia got her back beat in by Bolo. Like, who cares? So it'll be one thing about me. I'm gonna be watching because I'm gonna do that anyway. But I feel like it was in the words of Zach Thomas's favorite housewife of Potomac, Mia Thornton, it was very low budget. I would have liked to attend it, but I want to come to something that wasn't low budget. But it looks like they've taken a part of the budget from Real Housewives of Atlanta and used it towards Portia's Family Matters and Candy and the Gang, because Candy and the Gang is very well done. It is very well done. And then also the trailer for Real Housewives of Dubai, I think is what they're calling it, Real Housewives of Dubai. It came out, and that right there, now that they got some money over there. I can tell. They got the good cameras. They put the good cameras in the deserts for those women.
The Dubai, I think, gonna be our Beverly Hills. I think.
Oh, you think that's what it's about to be?
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching all of it though. I'm watching it.
Well, those things did trend on Black Twitter.
Did you see that they have a legacy show for Real Housewives of New York now?
So wait, no, what does that mean?
Okay, so they're gonna have the regular Real Housewives of New York, and then they're gonna have Real Housewives of New York Legacy, and it's gonna be like the OGs, like Luann, the Countess Luann, Sonia,
Ramona.
Well, they're back and forth. Like I think Countess was like, we can't do it without Ramona, and then there are some other people that started out with the New York girls. I think that something like that would be interesting for Atlanta. Like I can just watch.
Well, that's definitely something that we'll talk about. That's a good idea, and that should definitely be a topic for the after show.
Yeah, where they are now.
Our after show audience loves that reality housewife talk. They like that. I don't agree with it. I think cancel the whole freaking franchise. Now listen. Very good point. Crazy Boy Jay. This we're gonna end this real briefly before going to the next show to talk to Crazy Boy Jay. Crazy Boy Jay, I got time for you today. Crazy Boy Jay said, number one, why do good color folks like you Negroes, is what he's trying to say, continue to vote for Democrats? They do nothing for y'all. Listen to this, Crazy Boy Jay. Number one, I don't know what color folk you talking about. You talking about the man you see in the mirror. Okay, you talking about the man you see in the mirror, and maybe the men and women you may be laid up with. I don't know. Okay, I don't know who you with, but I know that's the color folks you talking about, because you're not talking about no color folk over here. But in regards to black people, in terms of black people like me voting Democrat, what it comes down to is this. The majority of black elected officials in this country are Democrat. The black people who have grown up, become educated, worked hard, and who serve the public willingly, they are Democrats. They are the party of black people. They care about the party because they are the party. And that's why we vote Democrat. I don't understand how there's some people like you who want to run behind Republicans who are seeking white approval and seeking white validation in an effort to feel like you belong, in an effort to feel like you are one step above the gullah people that's being addressed in this comment. Sad and unfortunate. Now, in addition to that, when you say about your guy, Horatio said, who is your guy? Because whatever guy you talking to, Ketanji don't need that type of, you don't talk to your guy about Ketanji. We got her covered. We done cover her. Her mom and daddy cover her with Jesus Christ from the moment she was born to the moment she will sit on the Supreme Court and judge and rule over you, crazy boy, over you, as she makes laws and upholds the laws of this land. And the only river that we cry is a river that you will sell black men and women up as a slave driver.
Okay,
an overseer.
Okay, Candace. I thought we did know who Crazy Boy Jay was laid up with.
No.
Weren't they at your party?
Oh my God, this is not to be revealed. Moving on from this, we don't know who Crazy Boy Jay is, Deborah. It's a mystery, Deborah.
Was he at your party?
Boom. Let it go, Zach. Catch up. I was a little jealous.
Who?
You know, I like the attention to be on me.
And it was on Crazy Boy Jay.
Shall we proceed?
So, yes, what is tonight's 365 Black History? Darius has been doing a horrible job.
No, I haven't, Zach. You
have been skipping it. Cutting it.
Pulled up for the last 2 Mondays, and now I got to find it again. Hold on.
Well, while he's looking for one, I got one. Congratulations to the Lady Gamecocks for winning the national champion, and Don Stanley for being only the first Black coach to have multiple national champions.
Good job to the Gamecocks.
Congratulations. All right, now for the one that's been the tap that's been open.
Yeah, give us the real one.
James Baskett won an Academy Award for his part in Disney's Song of the South. He became the second African American to receive an Academy Award and the first African American male.
That's the worst one ever.
Well, I pulled it in honor of the Academy Awards that were happening at the time. So
I want to make a confession. I want to tell a funny, this is a horrible story. You guys know a horrible story. A fact of Zach's life is the first cartoon I've ever seen at the movie. The first cartoon I've ever saw was Song of the South.
That was in 1948.
It was re-brought back when I was a child, and that was the first cartoon I've ever seen in the movie theater.
Was it bad?
Well, it was exceptionally racist.
Was it really?
Yeah, go and Google the clips. But we watched it because my dad was he loved those. It was based on stolen stories from like slavery, right? Like the African folktales. The stories are based on African folktales, and my father's grandfather would tell him those folktales, and that's why he loved it so much, and he wanted to share the stories with me, and he often told those stories growing up. So it has a nice point to it, but the fact that Son of the South is so ignorant and racist, when I look back on it, I'm like disappointed to say that was my first cartoon of all time.
Yeah, Zach, that just told your age, because I've never seen this in my life, so you must be older than me. If this played at the movie theater.
Zach, it was they brought it like how they brought Lion King, Zach.
You know Zach is transmillennial.
I am trans Gen Z. Don't you confuse me with you. Now, yeah, zippity doo dah, zippity a. My oh my, what a beautiful day. That is it. So, with that being said, what a beautiful day to now go to Instagram. Check us out for the after show where we're going to talk about the Grammys. We are going to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac, return of my favorite of all time, Katie, for at least a moment, as well as this rebooting and relaunching. So I will see you there. Catch you next week.
Bye.
If you are on spring break and travel this week, be safe and have a wonderful time.
Oh, yes.
I will be in Hawaii and I'll be posting stories the whole time. So check my stories and see the
Evangelista that came. We got a Evangelista
Marsha.
Hey, Marsha, girl, we have missed you.
Angie. Talking about Ketanji.
She said by time. She's talking about Ketanji.
She said by Ketanji. Who are these people?